You know, punctuation may seem like a little thing, but it really can make a big difference in your IELTS writing score. And in this lesson, I'm going to share with you what I think are the 5 most important points in when it comes to punctuation and writing. And not only the 5 most important, I think these are the only 5 that you need when it comes to your IELTS exam. So let's get started and talk about how important punctuation is. Take a look at this sentence. Marilyn Thomas finds happiness in cooking her family and her dog. Well, that might seem like a ridiculous sentence, but you can see the difference that punctuation can make when it comes to clarifying the meaning of your writing. And it makes punctuation will make your writing more precise and emphasize the meaning that you want to convey in your writing. And it adds structure to your sentences so that they come across and that you're communicating exactly what you want to put forth. And remember, the purpose of punctuation is not to impress the examiner. It's not to be fancy. It's to be functional so that you share your ideas and your thoughts and your opinion as clearly as possible. The first thing I want to talk about is using capital letters and full stops, or putting a period at the end of your sentence. So the beginning of your sentence should always begin with a capital letter and end with some kind of full stop. And in this case, we're talking about a period. And what this does is it really shows where one sentence starts and one sentence ends. And this is very important. The other place that you'll want to make sure that you use your capital letters are at the beginning of any proper nouns, whether it's a person's name, the name of a place, someone's nationality or language. These should all start with a capital letter. And just another little tip for other parts of the IELTS exam, for example, in the listening section and the writing section, where you're only making one-word answers or only two or three word answers, it is okay in the listening section and the reading section to use all capital letters when you're putting your answer on the answer sheet. But just to be clear, make sure that every sentence begins with a capital and ends with a full stop. The next type of punctuation that you want to be very clear on is the use of commas. And comma has 2 different kinds of uses when it comes to structuring your sentences. So first of all, you use a comma when you need to join 2 independent clauses or 2 simple sentences and make them into one sentence, like in a compound sentences. And here's a couple of examples that may illustrate what I mean. Those books were expensive, but they will be very useful. Or the storm last night was really wild, so I expect there will be some damage to the house. I just want to add a little note here about the structure of sentences, whether it's a simple sentence, a compound sentence, or a complex sentence. If you would like more information and more instruction on how to structure your sentences and the different types of sentences, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out my other video about writing the perfect paragraph. This is where you'll find out everything about the difference between simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences, and how you can structure them and put them into the context of writing a really good paragraph, particularly for writing task 2. So don't miss that if you have the opportunity. The second use of a comma is when we want to separate items in a series or in a list. I've been to Germany, comma, France, comma, and Italy. One thing to remember is when you are making a list, when you come to the final item in the list, put the conjunction "and" before the final item in your list. So our goals are customer satisfaction, innovation, and environmental protection. So those are the two uses of a comma: to join independent clauses together, or to separate items in a series or a list in your sentences. The third point of punctuation that I want to mention is an apostrophe, and it also has two completely different, unrelated meanings. The first use of an apostrophe is to indicate possession, and this just means that something belongs to someone or something. And you can either use apostrophe S if the noun is singular, or you can use S apostrophe if the noun is plural. Jonah's painting is a spectacular one. And in the second case, we have a plural noun, so we just add an apostrophe to the end of the word. The headmaster took away the students' ball. So that's the first use of an apostrophe. The second use of an apostrophe is when we want to show a contraction. And instead of he is, we would say he's. And I haven't put the right examples here, but I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. But I do want to say something about contractions, because this is a question that I get quite often. And is it okay to use contractions in formal writing? Well, on the IELTS academic writing task, it's okay to use contractions. And while the academic writing is a little formal, it's not formal to the point where you can't use contractions. They're totally acceptable. And one more important note is this is sometimes something that's very confusing, and you can see it at the bottom of the slide. And this is the difference between a contraction and possession. It is, the contraction for it is its with the apostrophe. But if you have its without an apostrophe, it means possession. I hope that's not confusing for you. But when it comes to its, you do not use an apostrophe to show possession. The next point of punctuation that can be effective on the IELTS exam, and it may not seem like the opportunity to use it is there very often, but if you ask a question, be sure to put the question mark at the end of the sentence. Now, let me just give you a little tip for how you can use a question in your IELTS writing task 2. One thing that a question does is it generates interest. And if you were to ask a question, for example, in the introduction to your IELTS writing task 2, it implies that you're going to answer that question. So if you want to suggest what the topic of your essay is, sometimes you can do this and generate interest by asking a question. And then the purpose of your essay is to answer that question. And that can be a helpful technique. It may just be a matter of style or how you want to put your point across, but don't hesitate to use a question as part of the introduction to your essay, and then answer it in your essay. And this can also help with paraphrasing, because one of the things that you want to do in the introduction when you're introducing the topic is simply paraphrase the essay prompt. And one of the simplest ways to paraphrase the essay prompt, as well as using synonyms, is to restructure the sentence and put it into the form of a question. So I just want to go over, just review a couple of things and some common mistakes that you can make when it comes to punctuation in your writing task. And these mistakes are usually as a result of, again, trying to be too fancy or impress rather than be functional. Remember, the purpose of your essay is to express your opinion clearly. It's measuring your ability in English, and you don't have to go over the top when it comes to trying to impress with even vocabulary words that you may not know how to use correctly. And the same is true with punctuation. You don't want to overuse punctuation. And there are about 12 or 13 different types of punctuation that are available to use in the English language, but I'm showing you the most important 5, and really the only 5 that you will need for your IELTS exam. So be very careful. First of all, as I mentioned right from the beginning, make sure your sentences come to a full stop. Make sure that you keep your writing well structured, and this is where you will get your best score for cohesion and coherence in the writing task. The exclamation mark. You really don't need to use this at all in formal writing or in the IELTS exam. When you're writing formally, you don't really need to emphasize your emotions. And this is really the case in writing task 2. You don't have a need to use the exclamation mark. You're not trying to express an emotion like happiness or disgust or danger. You are simply trying to support your opinion with a reasonable and logical explanation. And when it comes to colons and semicolons, they can often be confusing when it comes to knowing how to use them. So my suggestion is don't use them at all. Again, you really only need to use the 5 punctuation points that I've mentioned here today, making sure your sentence begins with capital letters and ends with a full stop, using commas correctly, apostrophes, and question marks. And if you stick to this simple approach to punctuation when it comes to the IELTS exam, you will get the score you need, and you will improve your writing and getting your opinion across. So I hope you found this helpful. Again, be sure to subscribe to my channel and check out some other useful videos for helping you in your IELTS preparation. And I want to wish you all the best on your journey.